As we move locations, we are now located in the sunny Miami, Florida. Or maybe not. Maybe we're still in Richmond, Virginia. But we are making good progress on this building. I know we've shown you guys a little bit of the follow along. In case you guys are not following along, this here will be home base for the office area. Some merchandise area. My mom having an actual personal office with a closable door for the first time ever since she left her corporate career, where she actually had a nice office and a cubicle, I remember, and some other things. But this area here will be parking. We got our handicap. We've had some things to deal with the county that slowed us up a little bit. One is having to organize some parking and display area. And of course, we had to get our palm trees in the ground. And these have not done so great compared to the last batch, but we're going to make them last for the winter, somehow, shape, or form. Let's go inside. I want to show you guys what we've been doing. So welcome to the mess. This will be the future area where you will walk in at some point in time. You're still welcome to come and browse. I just was doing another video for Christian's channel, Davis Auto Sales VA, and in that channel video we were talking about the showroom, which that showroom there, the short one, has basically become Squarebody showroom. It's also going to become three-wheeler showroom very soon. The racks are going up. The big showroom we don't use very much. That's mainly for people driving by at night seeing it. And our small office that we've been crammed in and made work since 2000, 25 years, we've been dealing with that. It was okay when it was me and my dad. It was okay when it was me and my dad and my mom. It was okay when it was me, my dad, and my mom and one person. But now when you got 5, 6, 7 people trying to do anything in that office, it gets very crammed. So finally, we're going to have some expansion space. Mom's private office in the back, a little overflow showroom area, which I kind of foresee being decorated. Also probably with some three-wheelers up in the air, so it doesn't take up any space. And then down bottom, probably some equipment, other things. This door will be a matching glass door like our other doors and our other facilities. These windows are already tinted, so they'll be nice for the sun. And this, we've already done all the lights in here, so it lights up pretty well. We did LED replacement lights because the lights in here were super poor, but it lights up pretty good. But the newest addition, I cut all this down. We finished everything. You see the paint, see everything. And then we were doing a little trim out, pulling a wire. And I said, David, there's brick behind there. He said, yeah, Jim, I think that's the old building. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess that's the old building, which turns out it is a 1900-ish, maybe older, building with really cool brick, as you can see. So after finishing all the paneling, we ripped it all back down, and David took the time to build these boxes. I said, you know, just build a couple little shelves, you know, just something we can, you know, we got a stand on it. We're just going to put a little trophy on it, maybe a little model car, hang up some things. My uncle doesn't do anything halfway, period. So he spent about a week over here actually framing it in, putting really thick plywood in, and detail work. Couldn't expect any less. I knew he'd do it right. So he did it. Doesn't look like much, but it's a big deal. It turned out great. And the little icing on the cake. Woo! That is pretty freaking cool. So that we can stay and keep lit up all the time. Nice little nightlight backlight. It'll have a lot of my mom and dad's awards, plaques, all that stuff's bronze. You know, it's going to be cool with the lights. And we'll have some trophies down here, some model cars. I still have my dad's model cars. Well, speaking of my Uncle David. So just like me, Brian, and Daniel, there was my dad, David, and Barry. Spaced out in age almost exactly the same. David's 3 years younger than my dad. Brian's 3 years younger than me. Barry's 10 years younger than my dad. Daniel's 10 years younger than me. So the spacing of the boys was almost identical. And my dad used to tell me stories of my uncle. He'd finish up a model, and then my uncle would tear it up. And he'd finish up this, and, you know, just kids being kids and boys being boys. But I do still have some of my models, and I asked my dad one time, why is that one broken? He said, I think your Uncle David smashed that one. I've still got it. So don't even think I've ever told my uncle that story. But we'll put some of his models on display, a couple other things. I think coming into our business and just being able to take in the ambiance, ambiance, big words, and I'm not good with them, is part of our customer base. We've got customers that have been by one time but bought 10 vehicles, but they have at least made one trip by here just to see things, see all the old eclectic things that we have around as far as awards, tools, displays. I mean, it's just wild when you come experience it in person. I know the video and the channel helps a lot. We had some people in this week that traveled through. As a reminder, 95 is right there. If you're traveling 95 north, or if you're traveling 95 south, you're coming right past us within one block. You will waste no time getting off. We've had at least 4 or 5 people this week alone stop in just traveling home from the south, going to the north, or coming from the north, snowbirds going south. I had to stop in and check things out. So one of them, I took the time and I walked around with them personally because I had to go across the road anyway. And I walked through the building. They're like, dude, I feel like I've been here. And I'm like, well, if you watch the channel, they're faithful watchers. They watch every day, and we're trying to post a video every day. I like to go back and see how long, but I know we've been doing it daily, well over a year without missing a day. And that's a lot to take in when we're trying to run a business. We're not YouTubers. We're trying to run a business too. But anyway, this is going to give us a lot more area to display merch. We'll have merch organized. That's another thing that Christian handles. Christian and Mike over here, receptionists out front, Mom back there. I'll be in the office right there. We'll have some overflow in the back for our, cleanup people, temporary people coming and going. If we got stuff going on, we'll also have kind of a meeting room. We'll have a break room, and we also have a much nicer bathroom. Also, found the pretty brick behind there. I guess we call it pretty. Just back when people put some effort into things. It's really freaking cool. We're able to box it out, close it back in. All this area will get painted white. I haven't even let Mom come over here and see it. I've just kind of been keeping this all as a surprise. She doesn't even know what's going on because I sneak around the back way to come over here. Because it used to be she saw me come over here. She said, what's you doing over there? So now I've just kind of been getting it done. But the county did delay us on a lot of things. But nice bathroom, plenty of room to take a seat. Have some cabinets over here. Also have some, different things decorating. I'd love to have a collage of our trucks. Also put in another barrel sink like we have in the current office. And I think that turned out really good with the bronze and the brass and yada, yada, yada. Pretty neat. I've always envisioned a wall with a collage of pictures, even if they're just, a big one, small one, big one, small, just a collage of pictures. One of the dealerships that me and my dad used to go to years ago, they just took a stapler and they had wood paneling and they stapled a picture up of all the trucks they sold. And it was pretty neat. They had a pretty diverse wall. And I remember as a kid, of course, I was down here looking at these, but it went up the wall and I was always checking out the cool vehicles and trucks. I thought that was a great idea. The crazy part is not all the things we sell, like a white international rollback, they all look the same. And we've sold 300 of them or whatever the number is that all look exactly the same. But when it comes to custom trucks and sports cars and other things, it's been part of our life. It's been part of our world. I've driven them home. We've taken customers on test drives. We've had people travel in to see some of these things, especially some of the exotics. So we'd love to have a collage wall somewhere of all the pictures, which to date now, I think is close to 25,000 vehicles. So pretty substantial number. And then on top of that, trucks and vehicles that we have touched through the shop, through the times that I ran the shop, now with Daniel and Brian running the shop, there's probably an additional 50,000 vehicles there that have been customized and lifted. So you might as well say 75,000 vehicles in our time, not to mention my grandfather's time of doing vehicles, which, may take us close to 100,000 within the next couple of years, which would be a phenomenal thing to say we've touched, modified, sold, bought 100,000 vehicles. That's insane. But it's real numbers. It's real life. We've done a whole lot in our time. We've touched customers all over the world. It's really a unique business that we're in. Not always the greatest business for taking home a paycheck, but a fun business nevertheless, and one that's very satisfying when you have the right customer base. And I feel like we've got the best customer base that we've had in a long time, especially the general demographic If I forget this, we'll have a big problem. And if it would have rang sitting there and fell off, it wouldn't have been good. Yeah. 15 text messages in that little period of time. So as we're walking back to the lot, we had some interesting characters here that Christian said, hey, can we go do a video? They were making their own commercials on our parking lot. It was some funny stuff. I tell you guys, we see, I mean, nice guy. He watches the channel, obviously, because he said Davis drives. Yeah, he did. So he watches the channel. He was spitting off some game, man. He was just rattling off his own little commercial for us, which was pretty neat. But sometimes that Christian gets a little, he doesn't understand that so much. So I think he might have been homeschooled. I don't know. But walking past a bunch of our bucket trucks, which we are getting ready to move just over here because we're trying to get them organized, make sure that the 30 of them we're supposed to have, we actually have all 30 of them. Got the 6-door out. I've been driving that truck a little bit. The Raptor, regular Raptor, I want to say Raptor R. The Raptor R is over around back. We need to pull that out. AJ's across the street moving God knows how many vehicles around because the vehicle the customer's coming to look at is like 5 rows back in the corner. So he's got to get that one out. Christian's doing the PP dance, so we're going to cut this short. He's got to use the ladies' room, and we'll be back to you guys in just a few minutes. He's back from his bathroom break, so we're ready to resume again. He's also been hacking and spitting out here, so he's much happier outdoors than in his office. This 74 Blazer is about to leave, head to Texas. This was a very overlooked truck. I know we didn't really promote it a whole lot. When it came in, we took the top off. Then it got stuck in the corner of the building. And the seat, the passenger seat, and I'll show you guys. The passenger, oh, look at there, a little butterfly. Good luck. Means it's going to make a safe trip to Texas. The passenger seat on this year era Blazer flips forward. And the bracket system underneath here, somebody had bent it, tore it all to pieces. It was just a mess. And we couldn't find one. We searched high and low. Then, the really bad part was, we had a company that said, I got plenty of these things. I was like, I'm telling you, it's only a 2-year thing. If you don't have the exact one, I know we do. We got them all on the shelf. It's like, okay. Can you, I think I stuck my foot in my mouth. I said, how about I send you what we have and you match it up and make sure, because he just had a warehouse full of seats. So we shipped them off to no avail. They didn't have them. Then they stopped answering the phone. So then we had no brackets. We had no nothing. We didn't even have something we could fabricate and make at that point. We were just really at a loss. Finally tracked some down, got them shipped in, got them put together with the seat, and got her back together. And the customer is very patient. I told him from day one when he asked about the truck, I said, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story. Here's where we're at. There wasn't no need sugarcoating it. Matter of fact, in a couple of videos, I asked you guys if you had any seats. Thanks for reaching out. Everybody that reached out had the wrong seat, unfortunately. Newer, doesn't work. It just had to be an older bracket system. So we finally got it. We got the top put back on. And this Blazer's been repainted. It's had the trim replaced. It's, you know, it's had some things done to it over time, but you know, we didn't do, so we can't look under it with x-ray vision. Obviously, most of these had some cancer, had some rust that's been repaired over time, but it looks good. Kind of a butternut cream yellow color. Stretched rally wheels, basically new BFGs. I think it's probably sitting on either 4 or 6 inches. Got dual exhaust. Got a cool interior. The back seat, front seat, everything matches. I've always loved the interior of this truck. It's just having that seat issue. It got shoved to the side and shoved to the side and shoved to the side. The other thing that's cool is this is a stick. It's a 4-speed, which makes it really cool. You rip through the gears. Just a neat truck. And again, it got kind of overlooked, kind of on both sides, our side and the customer side, because we weren't publicizing it. It was way down on the website, if it was even on the website. And it was in the background of a lot of videos where you guys did see it. And thankfully the customer saw it and he said, yeah, JW, I'm patient. Of course, then he got really excited once he got paid for it. He's like, man, can we? And I was like, look, I shipped them. I got them. We got them in there. So now we got it posted for transport. It's Thursday, right? Hopefully we'll get a hit on it. It'll leave here before the weekend. If not, it'll be early next week headed his way. But we don't see the early generation K5s very often. Really freaking cool truck. And racetrack trim. Alvin just cleaned it up, so he's got it opened up, airing out. Shampooed the carpets, vacuumed it, washed it, dressed it. And, you know, the frame, I kind of wish it's very smooth. Look, I really wish we had spent a little bit more time and effort on this truck because the frame looks phenomenal on this truck. And I didn't get a chance to really look at it that closely until now. Again, when something gets frustrating, it's just like with you guys. If you're working on something, you just shove it to the side because you're mad. Well, for us, some of these vehicles get put that way. That seems silly, but finding a simple, which turned out to be almost $500 I spent for those brackets, which seems incredibly pricey, but that to get them and get the truck finished and be able to sell it to the customer, you know, the end goal was fine. It's just, it's a couple little pieces of freaking metal, but it was holding up a whole truck. So for those that ask, and all of a sudden recently we've had a bunch of calls about it, but yes, it is sold. It is getting ready to ship out. It is headed to Texas to live its life, and it's one of, it's 3 currently, right? Yeah, 3 that are currently getting ready to ship to Texas. So you guys are going to have some cool square bodies and other trucks showing up in Texas very soon. Matter of fact, I think 2 are square bodies. What's the other one? We're just talking about it. Huh? Oh yeah, that's it. The OBS. The OBS going to Texas. So the OBS going to Texas, 2 square bodies going to Texas. One of them we're going to show you guys shortly. Over there wrapping up some stuff. We finally got a clear day, so it's going to get a good drive. Retorque the suspension. Daniel said the tires ride really good. We did a completely, you guys are going to be, yeah, I think you're going to like it. We did something really different. Have you seen it yet, Christian? It's not boggers. Not boggers. So I think you guys are going to love this one. The customer actually made the final decision to go this way, to do something a little bit different. We think it's great. He mixed it up a little bit because it does look super cool. Set of Davis off-road wheels, 2.0 package. You guys are going to be very excited. So Blazer headed out, square body in a few minutes. Hopefully Christian can make it through the day. He's hacking and coughing, and he's got his bathroom break, so we'll keep on going. Got AJ on the road. He's dropping off, picking up. They're running all over the place today. Fridays are not the best day we figured out for moving trucks around, so we're trying on Thursday to make that our day to shuffle cars, shuffle vehicles. The shop, I don't have an official Dave or David in there, so that's our day to get in the shop and get our little piddly stuff done on things. And the boys are over there working on the rack still, so got a lot happening. Stay tuned. You may or may not recognize this 79 Ford. You definitely probably don't recognize a lot of Fords being on our parking lot, but this one has changed quite a bit. Matter of fact, it had about 2 days of nothing but, we call it decluttering around here. Some other people have some slang words for it, but we call it decluttering. The truck was really neat, but it had so many lights, extra wires, the steps, bars, visors. The whole bed is full. My man said it probably had enough wire to run around the world and back again. But the problem is when people wire stuff, sometimes they shortcut it. And wiring, even though only 12 volt, can become a fire very fast. So we all know that. So I'm glad we got the wiring all taken care of. He cleaned it up tremendously under the hood. This thing had buzzers and alarms and lights and gadgets, and I don't even know where to begin. But now it's cleaned up to a nice, regular wiring. Got a tune-up. It's running great. It's actually a really cool truck. Now, like every 79, it's had some body and paint work and things done at some point in time. But it is so cool and era correct. Now is when we really can envision some boggers, some lift kit. It's a leaf spring half ton, which is very unusual. It is an extended cab. Ford called it a super cab. Also super unusual. And now you can actually use the truck. We had 2 or 3 people stop by while we had this truck sitting over in the showroom and say, hey, y'all taking that stuff out? And I was like, not in the cards currently. We don't have the time, because it was a lot. Like, it had a whole box sitting here. out of a boat of buttons and knobs and controls. Now you actually have proper seat, proper back seat, manual trans, good driving truck, very error correct truck. We could put some dog dish or some full hubcaps on it. We could lift it. It is a really cool canvas now, as if it wasn't before. But truthfully, the whole bed of the truck is full of stuff. Now, we were going to pull the camper shell, but I still didn't want to give up the whole goat on this thing, meaning it is laid out in the back as a camper. And some people still want to go places and literally camp out in the back of the truck. They think it's cool. That's a lot of stuff. But it still has the sink. It still has the burner stove, which these caps are on it. I don't know that's ever been used. It still has the plastic caps on it. But it's got all the pieces to lay down to make a bed. It's got the spare tire. But you can see it had all the chicken lights, fog lights. It even had underbody lights before underbody lights were such a thing. Crazy. The man put some effort in it. Now, unfortunately, the man passed away from what we were told. But it was a Florida truck. Left the Florida tag just to show. Got the little scene on the back. What a cool truck. Dual exhaust. 351/400 is the motor designation. And we had Dave, our Ford enthusiast, because Christian's not quite old enough to understand all those old generation motors. He's learning though. But I had Dave go over it. He kind of validated what it was. Of course, the manual transmission, I don't guess Ford really had a special name, but if you guys know a special name for it or nickname, tell us. Because we want to learn the Ford lingo like we do the Chevys, you know, Rock Crusher and all the other cool stuff. So for you Ford fans, that's a cool one. It very easily could be customized. We would love to customize it. By all means, we would love to carry this truck to the next level of whatever that may be. Whether it be just tires and wheels, whether it be lift kit tires and wheels, whether it be accessories going back on it, doors closed, better than a Squarebody. I hate to say that, but they do. They always did. And we would call this a dent side. Without the trim, there's a dent. The others would be called a bump side. You know why? Because they got a bump. They come out. Like your belly.
Very nice.
Yeah, mine too. I'm a bump side, not a dent side. By next summer, I'll be a dent side or flat-sided.
There you go.
Yeah, with six-pack.
Let's keep our goals there.
Yeah, realistic goals. Christian said realistic goals. This man's funny. All right. Another one coming at you in a second. So sometimes I feel like we might talk about some of these vehicles and it might get a little repetitious. But then I remember, just because we see them all the time, the general public does not. And I'm on my third pair of shades today. Thank goodness we found a pair in that car over there. The sun is brutal. But CXT Internationals, if you haven't ever watched one of these videos, I find that hard to believe because they're pretty much our most watched videos there are. Matter of fact, I think the one on Christian's channel is probably your most viral one you've had, correct? Mm-hmm. So, International CXTs, a couple hundred of them ever built, 05 and 06, before emissions. So not only are they still probably the most sought after truck there is for any platform, dump truck, tractor trailer, whatever, this era of truck is super popular. But just imagine 200. Now, that means there's probably less than half of that left in the country because a lot of them go to other countries. And then a bunch of them, I know of two that I sold that literally got turned into commercial trucks. One of them had an excavator bucket fall off on its roof and got totaled. So we know that one's gone. So a lot of them got totaled. That's probably, let's say, one per state. If you guys know where one's at, you got a neighbor or brother, somebody check in. Let's make a check-in here. Drop a comment. There's a blue one in Texas, or there's a red one in Tennessee, or there's a blue one over here. I'd like to know where the rest of them are because I feel like we've tracked a lot of them. But this particular one may not be around for very many more videos. Talk to a customer that's supposed to be sending the funds on it from, I think it was Illinois. It's going there to be part of his company and a company vehicle with stereo and equipment, a lot of other things. But while we still had it, we're doing our final service and inspection so that it will be ready for the trip, because we will be delivering it. Don't know if we'll be driving it, putting it on one of our trailers, but what a freaking cool truck. I used to drive one of these to pick my daughter up all the time. She's like, Dad. And then I pull in the parking lot and everybody's like, the next day, everybody's like, Trista, was that your dad? Were you riding in that monster truck? And it was the, of course, I picked her up in cool stuff every time I picked her up from school. This vehicle here, at that time it was a yellow one. I mean, the freaking big banana, we called it, but it was the truck. It drove everybody crazy. But on another note, as we're talking about trucks, tractor trailers, even classic cars, if you take the time and you want to know the one designation that is the biggest thing for us, tire condition compared to miles. When I look at these vehicles, especially these CXTs and these classic trucks, and they still have original tires, they should. This truck's got 10,000 miles. When I took the tires off this truck years ago, when I sold it the first time, they were original. The date code was 06, so we knew they were the original tires, and they only had a fraction of the tread worn away. That validates to me this is a 10,000 mile truck. People tamper with stuff, guys. We see all the time people posting these square bodies and classic cars, 40,000 original miles. You look at the owner history, it's changed hands 12 times. There's no way in the world you can legitimately sell that as 40,000 miles. Do you know all 10 of those other people? Did all 10 of those other people swear on an oath that they didn't manipulate something? Did one owner keep it for like 7 or 8 years and it went from 39,000 to 139,000 and now it's got 40? You don't know. Now these trucks have digital dashes. They're a lot harder to do, not impossible to do. People have gone to prison for it. It happens all the time. We put these tires on it. We know they were date coded. So when you're looking at something and you're doubting the mileage or you're wondering about the miles, again, you call us about a square body. If it shows 50,000 on the dash, again, don't forget it doesn't have an extra spot. You're going to very, very, very rarely hear us say anything about the miles being original or documented. We have a few over there now, which are, and we have the original title, the original paperwork, and a lot of times we have all the inspections or all the inspections that we need to see that it went like it's supposed to. But a lot of it's fictitious. So tire tread, we did a whole video about it. It was a very interesting video about how to do that, and we'll do another one showing the date code. Matter of fact, we can do it on the other CXT. Doesn't it have original tires? We'll do it on the tan CXT. So never fret if you see in this video and you're dying to buy a CXT. We do have another one. We have the tan one that's sitting in my personal garage because I love it. And it's warm when it's cold and it's cold when it's warm and sitting there just as pretty as it can be. And also another reminder on this truck, it's not a hybrid. Just in case there was any confusion about it. The other cool thing with these is these are classified as the world's largest production factory pickup truck ever. Period. Undisputed champ. And a lot of people say, well, why did they put a Ford bid? I can go on for days about these trucks. Ford and International worked together in these years. If you bought a Ford 05, 06, 07, 6.0 truck, guess what you had under the hood? An International motor. So Ford and International were working together in those years. That's why it has a Ford bid. That's all I can say about that. So anyway, you got all this stuff clipped together, I guess, right? So I think we'll call it a day. It's been a good day. It's about 6 o'clock. Shop's still rolling. Got a couple tow trucks in here getting prepped. That one I think is going across the country. A couple others over there are finished. Another one over here just arrived. And they are rolling. TJ has got things moving around here. Just knocked out a couple of square bodies. So we are going to call it for today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. First thing with a nice Mickey Thompson video. All you people heading to Indy, safe travels. Be careful out there. Hope you all having a great time. We wish we were there. And it's going to be a beautiful Friday with a lot going on. See you tomorrow.